This week in gaming, we got the inevitable price announcement for Valve's Steam machine. Microsoft raised the Xbox price a second time, major gameplay changes were announced for Battlefield 6, and much more. It's been a crazy week for hardware pricing. Valve finally revealed pricing and availability for their Steam machine, which is a PC console hybrid device. The base model, which offers 512 gigabytes of storage, is $1,049. If you add a controller to that, it's $1,128. The 2 terabyte model ranges from $1,349 to $1,428 if you get it with a controller or not. And despite universal concern about the pricing, well, the Steam machine seems to be sold out already, at least in the regions where it's already been available to purchase. People looking to order one can currently sign up on a waitlist via Steam. Now, some of the features that might make the Steam machine a compelling alternative to a comparably priced PC are its incredibly small form factor and TV-centric features. It's roughly a 6-inch cube, which makes it a bit bigger than a Nintendo GameCube. And while the internet is quick to point out that you can get a significantly more powerful PC for the same cost as a Steam machine, getting one that fits in your TV console and is whisper quiet is going to cost you a premium. Valve also implemented their own hardware and software for CEC, which is a protocol that lets media devices directly control your TV, which you wouldn't be able to do with a custom-built Steam machine. SteamOS could also be an attractive option for gamers who want that console-like pick-up-and-play UI. Valve recently announced that anyone will be able to install SteamOS on their own hardware, and that they're currently working with Nvidia to add support for their hardware as well. But circling back to the outrage over the Steam machine's pricing, Valve says there's nothing they can do. Hardware pricing has skyrocketed over the past years thanks to the AI boom. The original target price of the Steam machine was around $750, and at that price it would have been a much more compelling pre-built gaming PC. But at over $1,000, it's going to be a tough sell. How much is that form factor and TV interface going to be worth over something that can get almost double the performance at a similar cost? Now, it's not just the Steam machine price that is going up. Microsoft just announced a second round of price increases for their Xbox consoles starting in August. The Xbox Series S 512 gigabytes is going up from $399 to $499. The Xbox Series X 1 terabyte is going up from $649 to $800. And if you're okay with no disk drive, you can save around $50 on an Xbox Series X 1 terabyte digital, which is going up from $599 to $750. In other Xbox news, it sounds like the first round of layoffs have started in the Microsoft gaming division. Many developers from Compulsion Games have announced that they've been let go. Their most recent game was South of Midnight. More layoffs and studio closures are expected in the coming weeks, but Xbox haven't officially confirmed them yet. Bungie have also been hit with layoffs, as most of the Destiny 2 team is being let go. Members of the studio's Marathon team are also being let go. It's unclear what the future holds for Bungie. They remain committed to supporting Marathon and have other projects in pre-production. Grand Theft Auto 6 was almost a $100 game. Pricing for the game's base and ultimate editions was announced this week. The base game will be $80, and the ultimate edition will run you a cool $100. The announcement has drawn some outrage for a couple of reasons. Firstly, the ultimate edition includes access to several in-game stores that will be locked to the base edition owners, including auto shops, clothing stores, and even barber shops. Secondly, the quote-unquote physical edition of the game doesn't include a disc with the game on it. A handful of retailers are refusing to carry it until a disc is included, but analyst says Rockstar are avoiding a physical version at launch for a couple of reasons, mainly leakers getting early access. DICE announced some major gameplay changes coming in Battlefield 6's next update. Weapon handling is being rebalanced with more consistent and predictable recoil patterns, but weapons will generally have increased bullet deviations after the first shot. The aim is to encourage more tap firing and other recoil control tactics, especially at longer ranges. DICE are also adjusting TTK with new damage modifiers for body parts. An example they included was a decrease in the amount of damage done to arms, making arm shots require an extra shot for a kill. These changes go live on the 30th, and future changes to vehicles will be announced in the coming weeks. Extraction shooter Gray Zone Warfare's latest update includes a massive quality of life improvement that I've been asking for since before it even launched. Squad task sharing is now available. This lets the squad leader accept tasks, letting everyone in the squad work to complete them while also sharing progress made. There are some basic prerequisites, like everyone needs the task, vendor, and area unlocked, but it's a huge improvement over the more janky solution they previously had in place. Another major change is that players killed within a conflict zone can no longer respawn in the nearest combat outpost and must respawn at the base camp. On top of these changes, the patch notes are full of AI improvements, bug fixes, and more. This is a pretty important and meaty update overall. A major exploit in Arc Raiders might actually be fixed. The devs released a patch this week targeting a glitch that let players duplicate items. This exploit was used by a broad community of people buying and selling in-game items, as well as tools that made the exploit easy to execute. Hopefully this change is a permanent fix. If you've been wondering why clips of a janky-looking hide-and-seek indie game have been flooding your feeds this month, it's because Meccha Chameleon has racked up over 7 million copies sold in less than 2 weeks. The game is a multiplayer hide-and-seek title where players can paint themselves to match the environment as a form of camouflage. At $6, it's a pretty easy purchase, and the buzz around the game has really rocketed it into a league of its own. Now, speaking of cheap games, the Steam Summer Sale is live. Some of the headline discounts include 20% off Expedition 33, 50% off Silent Hill F, Battlefield 6 is also 50% off, and Red Dead Redemption 2 at 75% off. If you've been holding out for a major AAA game to go on sale, chances are it's at a steep discount on Steam right now. If you were hoping that Empluse would end up being the second coming of Titanfall, well, it's hard to say if it's gonna play out that way. The movement-based arena shooter hit early access this week at $14.99 and is sitting at a mixed review rating. Complaints mostly focus on the simplicity or bare-bones nature of the game. The developers acknowledge that the game doesn't have a ton of content right now, but that they plan on expanding it throughout early access. As for the core fast-paced gameplay, that has been a major highlight for the reviews, though there's a lot of discussion about the game's map design feeling a little too stagnant. The Nintendo Switch 2 remake of Star Fox 64 released this week to generally positive reviews from critics. The sentiment is that the game really shows off what the Switch 2 can do with its impressive graphics. That said, it sounds like Nintendo were very strict with their approach, as the game doesn't feature any extensive expansions or reworks to modernize the game. On one hand, it's a great way of preserving the original game's design and feel, but on the other hand, a lot of great game improvements have occurred over the last 29 years since Star Fox 64 launched. It doesn't exactly feel like it goes toe-to-toe with more contemporary games in terms of challenge or complexity. Now, if you want to see a more in-depth video on Empluse and what the gameplay actually looks and feels like, check out this video I made earlier this week. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. This is Level Cap signing off.